Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy Mr. Box Office from Mr. Box Office TV, back with another video for you today. And this is a match reaction analysis on the game yesterday where Tottenham Hotspur lost 2-0 against Manchester United at Old Trafford, making us a team that haven't won, I think, in 6 since Crystal Palace. And one of the things that can sum up this game, I think sums up this week, especially after the transfer window, is that we tried. We tried to beat Manchester United. We gave it a good go, but it just wasn't good enough. And with all the things that happened in the game, and the most important thing that happened in the game, which people are focusing on a lot now, especially with this, he's been so prevalent in the news recently, is Christian Romero's red card. Stupid challenge, and cost us the game. And even though we gave it a good go in terms of having, it was an equal game in the earlier part in the first half, we had half chances, I'll say. Man United had better chances than us. In Bremo, Cunha, the list goes on. They had chances, and they even scored from offside, and it was chalked off for offside as well. And as the game went on, especially after the sending off, they scored a really good goal with Bremo, and finishing on the get off the game with Fernandes, which ironically was in the second half when we made the substitutions very, very late to put on some attacking players in Tel, Mawani and Basuma as well. I think it was clear to see some of the weaknesses that Tottenham Hotspur have got in the team. Even though we had so much energy, we still defended okay. Bakaria had one of his best games in terms of in goal, in terms of saving us and keeping the score as low as it possible just to keep us in the game. You can still see there's still problems in the attack in terms of, people can say whatever you want about Javi Simmons. Javi Simmons has got more confidence. You can see that he's got more effects in the game. But we were missing that killer pass, clinical edge. And when you talk about the clinical edge, you can think about Harry Kane. You can think about Heung-min Son. You can even think about Brendan Johnson as well. But I'm talking about those two players that are missing at the moment, James Maddison and Dejan Kulusevski. Because there was a couple of moments in the game yesterday that I just want to highlight. There was a ball over the top. Solanke gets the ball. I think it was either Javi Simmons or Solanke got the ball. It was past that, and all it needed was a shot, just to take a shot first time. And what do? We pass it back because he takes 2 touches and then the move breaks down quickly. That's an example. Another example is Gallagher. Gallagher's a good athlete. I've said he's a very good athlete in terms of the way he plays and the way that he uses a lot of energy, and he gets himself forward and he can get himself into good positions. But when he got into that position, he didn't have that clinical edge just to place it in the back of the net, and that could have gave Man United a lot of problems, put them on the back foot. But that's where Tottenham Hotspur are missing a creator, somebody that has got that clinical edge to do that final pass, or to make that to be clinical in front of goal. And unfortunately, those players like Alderweireld, like Matty Tell, are just not good enough. We ain't got time for these players. You can even look at some of the defence. It's like, yeah, we've got some good defenders in terms of Romero, which I'll get into in a bit. Van der Ven, obviously, has had a very good season the last couple of seasons in terms of the way he plays, and he's gotten better this season. And Jagasin is he's a good defender as well, even though he's got his faults in terms of possession on the ball. And you can even say a Doji for a point as well. He's good as well. But they've still got their weaknesses, and unfortunately, they do come a cropper in certain games when you really need that clinical edge, that something to really get you through a game. And that's the something that gets you out of these situations, make you win more games than losing games or drawing games into winning. And I think we're seeing now the young Lions on youth, the manager's faults in terms of being too defensive, because he could have done a more attacking substitution after the sending off, not taking off Alderweireld. But I think that shows you how much trust he's got in Alderweireld, and showing the fact that we didn't do enough in the transfer window. And it also goes back to the whole thing about identity as well. Who are we? Going back onto the game, we struggled in terms of containing Manchester United. Man United really should have taken more opportunities. They had more shots on target. They had more shots than us. And I think it shows you that we did try. We tried to do what we could do. And maybe in another day, we would have had our luck. Like we had in the Europa League. We had our luck against them last year. But this year, in this game, it unfortunately, luck ran out for Tottenham Hotspur. And trying wasn't good enough. Going on to Amaro. Amaro shown again why he is a liability when you're going through a bad spell. Yeah, he's got heart. Yeah, he's got passion. And he's got ambition. But is that too much when you need calm heads in a situation where you need all your players at deck in terms of trying to get the points that you need to get you up that league so you can get yourself out of trouble? Is he playing for himself? Or is it just a case of, yeah, he cares so much that he's been so reckless? I mean, sometimes you can be so reckless when you care so much. When you care so much about something that you care about, you can be reckless in making decisions in life, in terms of friendships and in jobs and with employees as well. And that can spell a lot of disharmony in a group or within a team. You could use a lot of passion, endeavour, and you can be reckless, and then you perform not the way that you want to perform at work or in a sport or anything like that. And that could be the same thing from Romero. Being reckless, being outspoken, has had more effect in terms of what we want and what's affecting the team. And as a captain, you need your captain to be there, a strong leader, but also calm as well, through adversity as well. And I think that's where the criticism is aimed at Romero. He should be the man, just the figurehead, to try and get us through and try and get us out of trouble. But really, he's causing more trouble than good, what he's doing at the moment. And so, with that, it shows that because of that, it gave us a little bit more of a weakness in terms of him going off. We had to reorganise ourselves. And because Thomas Frank is a pragmatic manager, he didn't actually go and look at the balance to try and attack the team. Yeah, be defensive, yeah, for the next couple of minutes, yeah, just to settle ourselves. But for that second half is all Manchester United. The only time it was only Tottenham was when we had a little bit of a spell. Man United gave the ball away one time, and then Javi Simmons had a shot, and it was very close. It was just wide. And even though we just didn't have enough quality footballers just to make a difference in terms of making that final pass, because we did have some very good chances in terms of half opportunities to make most of them, but we just didn't do enough. And again, it just goes back to what I said. We tried. That's all we did, was try. And it's just a theme that we saw all through that this week. We tried. And that's what we did against Manchester United, tried. But Man United had more than trying. They were more clinical. They were more focused, more energy. And maybe because they've had less games. Yeah, cool. Yeah, true. But we've had a week off as well. And this is how we perform. And this is where I think the failings of what we've seen this week, and with the ownership and the board and Johan Lang and Vinay, it's shown you where we're at the moment as a club. The two goals were very well organised. First goal from a corner from Bremo, where it was very well worked in from the corner, short corner, and then he finished it, placed it really well past Lucario. Second goal was straight after the goal, the substitution from Frank to try and get something out of the game. And unfortunately, we just left ourselves exposed, and it just came back to bite us straight away. And then they scored from Fernandez, who had a really good game, really, to be honest with you. Has been revitalised. Casemiro has been revitalised with Mourinho as well. And you can see the battles that we were going through to try and get through with Martinez and Maguire as well. And you can see we were trying our best. We were really trying our best, but we just couldn't find the net. We just couldn't find anything. We just could not find anything at all. So that was the struggle, and really, in the end, it was just we finished the game, and yeah, we've not won, I think, since Crystal Palace, and West Ham won their game against Burnley. So now it's 6 points. And for me, it shows you that even though we're trying to show that we can play on all fronts, really we're not doing that at all. And really, to be honest with you, I know it's not a Frank in, Frank out debate here, but Frank should be gone. Should have been gone. We should have had an interim in, because he's failed his targets. He's failed completely with his targets in terms of competing on all fronts. Yeah, they can argue the Champions League we've done okay, but looking at the teams that we played, it's only inevitable that we're going to be out that competition anyway. So he's failed. Whether it's a transitional season, it's failed. So he's got to ask the question, maybe we need to reevaluate our objectives as a club. Because at the moment, to be honest with you guys, and you know Mr. Box Office, the main event, he's very honest. The ratings killer. He's only going to be honest. I've lost patience now. Actually, so much now. I've lost so much patience now that I think that, to be honest with you, I'm glad we lost, because I think people need to sweat. I'm glad West Ham won, because I think people need to sweat behind the scenes. I think they need to realise that what's at stake here, our Premier League status. Because if Tottenham Hotspurs get away with this, what will happen is we won't learn from it. We'll go back to just doing something. We'll just get good players, and we might get some good players. Cool. We might not be in Europe next season. Cool. We might get back into Europe the following season. Yeah. But we're back here again with the same people, because they'll have the same mentality, thinking we need to compete on all fronts. And it's not possible when you don't have an identity, when you're not all focusing on what the ultimate goal is in terms of identity, and that having reasonable objectives. The reasonable objectives is not reasonable objectives to play, to compete on all fronts, when you're not getting the players that are ready. Now, all the Bears are lucky coming off. You should have played. You should have stayed on. Yeah, 100%. But do we have time to see his development? The answer is no. Do we have time for Archie Gray to reach his development? No. Do we have time for Matty Tell to see his development? No. They should be second string. The player that you need to be looking for is someone like a Lookman. A Lookman that's gone to Atletico Madrid and revitalised Simeone so much that now you see what he's got the motivation now to still be at Atletico Madrid because of Ademilo Lookman. So that's what a player does who can hit the ground running does for you. And I'm not talking about Mwani because Mwani's he's been terrible, and I told you that about that anyway. Not that I want to tell you, but that's what happens. When I see something I don't feel right organically, I'll tell you. But this is what the frustration is, and this is why I don't care anymore. I couldn't care anymore because the thing is, I've only been saying this so long now that it can only get so boring and so monotonous, and that's why I can't say any more than that, and that's it for me. But the proof is in the pudding. We're losing games. I think it's more losses. I think it's becoming more worse than Ange Postecoglou. It's becoming worse than Christian Gross as a manager, and this is only going to continue. Yeah, we might have an uplift against Newcastle because Newcastle on bad form. But it's only denying the inevitable, really, for Tottenham Hotspur. And I think people just need to wake up. And I do mean what I say. I think Tottenham Hotspur just need to lose. If we lose, and then relegation becomes a reality, a relegation battle becomes a reality, I think then we'll start seeing some action. Because I think then they'll start seeing that really chickens are coming home to roost in terms of Premier League status is at stake here. And then they'll start realising things need to change. Because I don't think they think we're in relegation trouble at the moment. I really don't. Because the way they're acting is like they've got time. And time is running out. Is running out if we don't act quickly. Whether that, and I don't just mean the manager, I mean there's a lot of people that need to go, and they need proper leaders in to change this. Because all we're going to hear is, we tried to get for Semenyo, we tried to get Lookman, we tried to get Adelush, we tried to get Guehi. And trying doesn't get you anywhere at all. Big up to everybody who's watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. A few thoughts from your Professor of Truth and Entertainment, the ratings killer. And if you don't know, you should have got to know already. And as always, see you next video, hopefully soon. If you didn't know, get to know. Support your boy, Mr. Box Office. Subscribe and like. And come on, you Spurs. And I'm out.